Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and this time we're playing Mikanko, and I hope you guys are excited. This archetype is based on reflecting your opponent's damage back at them, and we do it in a big way. We use these Mikanko monsters that have 0 attack, and when they're equipped with the card, which is very easy because most of them, that's how you summon them, they reflect damage back to your opponent. So you kaiju them, attack, 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 boom, they're dead. So that's pretty much the gist of the deck. I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time, Axe of the Fools is kind of like a budget option. Some people use a double-edged sword, but it's a UR inside Master Duel. But Axe of the Fools does the same exact thing, and I actually really like the fact that this card also negates a monster effect, so you pretty much want to be equipping this card to your opponent's monster, and you end up searching it off of Power Tool Dragon, which you can go into with Diviner. That all being said, Double Edge is a bit better. The only reason it's better is because pretend you have a monster. Let's say you have Diviner or an Ash Blossom on the field. You can use, like, this makes it so your opponent takes damage. So, like, if you have it equipped to like this, and you attack your Ash into it, they'll take 5,300 damage, and then one Mikanko card into the card will be the OTK. So it is an OTK deck. It's a blind second deck. The only unfortunate thing about blind second decks is if you win the coin flip, it's a little awkward telling your opponent, hey, I'm going to go second, because then they play a little differently, and we're going to see that. We're also going to go over the recap on anything I would switch about the deck. And how the deck performs. So let's get to it. Hello, we're here with game number 1 against Yimfer, and our hand is looking very Mikanko-like. Our opponent, again, so this is a game where we chose our opponent to go first, and they just set a card and play D-Shifter. So I'm like, okay, well, that's neato. That's neato, pretty cool. And then he Cyclones my 1 card. I pretty much searched for water. The only reason I'm even extending on board is because if this guy can OTK me back, it would feel bad. So yeah, this is what we're doing. And he ashes me. So he's on a 2-card hand right now. I actually feel pretty okay about this. I'm going to set Mikanko Promise. And boom, here we go. So if you guys don't know, the green Mikanko, this is the green one, this makes it so your opponent cannot target any Mikanko card. So you can't even target my spells, but he's actually super nice. So we're going to activate. Again, this is the problem with the deck. One of the problems with the deck, if your opponent's just not playing monsters, it's very hard to OTK. So here, our opponent enemy controllers, we're like, okay. We're going to just pop the last card. I'm going to set the rival and pass. Our opponent has 2 cards. I don't think I'm going to die from it. And it's Cashier of Birth. And he summons Unicorn. It could have been way worse. He could have summoned Fenrir right here. So this is kind of best case scenario for us. He gets rid of Zeus, but we don't even care about extra deck. Alright, so now we're Gucci. Here, we're good. We're going to discard this water. We don't need it. So, we summon our Mikanko card, we use the Axe of the Fools, we use the spell in the graveyard. So the green equip spell, you can use it in the graveyard to bring back another Mikanko in the graveyard and then special summon it, but when this leaves the field, it gets banished. So, could extend even more, but we don't need to, we just kill him. I mean, that's what it is, but some of these matches get really annoying because, again, you win the coin flip, you don't want to go first, because going first board sucks. And we're not playing any going first cards, really. So, yeah, we kind of have to do what we got to do. Alrighty, this is game number 2. And, again, we won the coin flip here, and our opponent just passes. Isn't that fun? Doesn't it make a very fun board state? The good thing is, if you don't want to... Like, since we don't really want to commit, because we don't know what he's playing, we can actually still make a pretty impressive board. We go into Phantom Break, we attack, we go down there, and we pretty much end on a format Zeus. Which is pretty hard to break, unless you have something to break it. And then he just passes again. He has literally nothing. Like, he knows I'm playing Mikanko, and I can't OTK him without actually doing something. So he's like, oh, I got one more turn left. Well, guess what? We have interrupted Kaiju Slumber. I feel comfortable just using it. Boom. We get both of our Kaijus. Boom. And he's gonna concede because it's already game. I'm using this. I'm gonna summon the green and then attack at 6600 damage. It's GG, and he's scooping up. Isn't that cringe, though? That's pretty cringe. Hello, this is game number 3, and we're gonna maxi this motherfucker right from the start. Oh, this is actually really funny. I wanted to include this, how funny it is. So we ashed the Gamma so we can get the maxi to resolve. We desperately need draw cards. And he gammas our ash. So what do you guys think is gonna happen? If you guys thought that, like, he only has one frame driver, so he summons the frame driver with the first one, negates my ash, and then maxi resolves anyway, I mean, then yes, you'd be correct. Because he's only play one frame driver, so it's actually hilarious. So maxi just resolves. And I don't think my opponent caught that, because what my opponent ends up doing is he kind of plays initially like it never happened, and then he's like, oh wait, hold up, how come my opponent's drawing cards? And then he goes into Heretical Seal, lets me draw an extra, so GG. Alright, so this actually triggers a Heretical Seal, and I max see this. I don't even care. I'm literally just trying to just draw into one card. Like, if I draw into the Ritual Monster, it's pretty much GG. I got a full combo. And that's pretty much what I'm aiming for. I have 6 shots for it. I hit it. So, the game's already over. So, we use this. We bounce his Drew's Worm. Fine, who cares? Mikanko grabs a Ceremony. Ceremony summons. Use Ceremony to pitch green. Activate Fire Dance and bring it back. We bring back the frame driver because we want to make sure he loses with it. And we BM our opponent right at the end. That's how you teach him a lesson, by the way. You gotta BM at the end with the cards. Alrighty, we're here with game number 4. These games are very quick, I'm not gonna lie. I end up not max seeing. Sometimes when I don't max see in the draw phase, usually I do. It's just I'm either on, because I'm on stream, I'm either looking at my phone or something when the match starts. So I end up max seeing here. It's fine. I mean, at least this plays around Gamma, if he had Gamma. So we're gonna look to OTK our opponent. We activate Diviner. We send Entis because I want to see if one of these are smashers. Kind of pick apart. We grab water. Boom. Bounce it back to hand. Grab fire. And then we have this. So now that we have this on the board, he can't target these cards. So it's GG. And it's not GG because he can droplet it. So that's very unfortunate. I suicide. And then I end up going into IP Masquerena. Again, we leave the green up because green makes it so none of these cards can be targeted, which is pretty valuable when people have a bunch of annoying cards. So, this guy's going to imperm my IP, can't target anything else, and then he plays the Fenrir, and then he activates the Banish. I don't think he realized that, like, this is a card. He can't banish this, or this. So I end up just bringing my cards back. And I make him suffer for summoning Fenrir against me. I'm like, you really want to summon this card against me? How about this? We're just gonna go balls to the walls here. Boom. That's gonna bring back red, fire, and then we summon green. And we bring back their Fenrir just so he has double Fenrir to BM him some more. So right here we're gonna do a bajillion damage. Boom. Bye-bye. Goodbye. I mean, this deck is pretty self-explanatory, right? Well, the combos don't... The combos are relatively simple, in my opinion. Hello, we're here with game number 5, and we're playing against Lyra. And again, we're getting Fenrir, but we have Kashtira. But then he does nothing else. So, I mean, just a bad opening, I guess, for Sprite. I kind of was hoping he was going to play through it, but Nibiru still might have been pretty bad, because it's usually pretty bad against Sprite if they just go gigantic early. We activate Axe, so he is weakened. Attack. Takes damage. So I included this replay. It's not even a good replay, but I just thought it was really funny. So I max see him. I don't think he realized when he changed his card to attack that this card reflects damage. I don't know what was going through his brain, but like he seen me attack his card. He took damage, and then he's like, "Oh, fam, I'm gonna kill him on my turn. Let me do that." And then he realizes it, and then he shame scoops, which is hilarious. Because these games all take place in Masters, which is really funny. Alrighty, we're here with the 6th and final game against Alex Uwu. And we have to win this game, to be honest. If we don't, I don't know what to do with myself. He's playing Notoria Runic, which is a very good deck right now. So we're going to Ash the Notoria Sacred Tree. So I was actually debating whether if this was going to be a good Ash, but like... If he didn't have, like, Camilla or Mole Cricket, this is, like, an amazing Ash. So it's kind of a gamble. He's gonna Maxi. I'm gonna Panavi. He Ashes it. Pretty cringe. But I know for a fact the only cards that he can draw that are live will be Runic cards. So we just have to hope he doesn't draw any. That's one draw. A little spooky. Diviner, we're gonna send Herald. I could have sent Entis to pop this, but I wanted to send Herald because I actually want to kill him this turn. This is the only way we're really going to get that job done. So, this is another high-level play. If this guy draws a Runic Negate card off the top, I'm kind of fucked. But we're going to go on to Nightmare Phoenix. Use Nightmare Phoenix to pop the Runic Fountain. So now if he draws any Runic cards, it's not going to be detrimental to me. I summon my Mikanko, Onahime, and this man had Notoria Blessing set, and he found Mole Cricket. The good thing is Mole Cricket only searches one card, because I gave him some big-ass bitch. Summons Camille, sends Sunflower, so the next monster I summon, he's going to be able to bring Sunflower, but the good news is, the card we're going to bring back is the Fire. So the Fire is going to allow me to grab the water, and I could use the water to bounce his Sunflower. So then I play through all of that. I can now just beat the fuck out of him with his own cards. And ooh woo is the last thing I'm going to say right there. Alex ooh woo got annihilated. Hello and welcome to the recap. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. It helps out greatly. And my eyes are bleeding from recording this. Come on, guys. Just subscribe. Also, join our Discord. If you're watching this on a Friday, we host tournaments every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. This week is the ban list is kind of limited. It's not too many crazy hits. But it is you bring 2 decks, and you have to win with both decks to move forward. Best of 3, obviously. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about the deck, though. How did the deck perform? So the deck actually performed pretty good. I'm going to say 2 criticisms, or 1 criticism. So we climbed. We went from Master 5. We climbed to Master 4, and then we deranked to Master 5. Then we climbed back to Master 4. So we wanted like a 6-game win streak and a 5-game win streak with the deck in Masters. And this is pretty early in the season. It's less than a week. Or a week. It's a weekend. So it's not too bad. But the big issue with the deck, the massive issue with the deck, is the fact your opponent needs to not know what you're doing. So when I say not know what you're doing, like if you win coin flip, like it sucks that you're telling your opponent you want to go second, because that's immediately saying danger alert, it's probably going to be Numeron or something else, right? So right there's a big issue. Second issue is if you're playing against something like Labyrinth, this deck is really weak to Labyrinth. So the reason why it's really weak, the Labyrinth, is they don't really have to play any monsters. They just have a bunch of these traps set. And once they see you're on Mikanko, they don't have to play anything. They just rely on their traps, wait for you to commit a little, and then they start messing with your board. So I think those are the biggest, like the worst matchups for the deck. But if you don't run into too many like trap stun lock decks, I think you're okay, to be honest. Like I think most of the other meta decks are like pretty, like you can win those matchups. It's just those like trap stun decks. Those are like going to be very, very hard to come back victorious. I would say you could run the blue Mikanko. I just didn't see the need to run it. I think this was a fine ratio. But you could run like one. If you run any of them, it'd probably be just one. It's like the worst one. So lastly, interrupted Kaiju Slumber. If you guys have more of this, at least like two. Two feels like it would be really good. So two, and again with the Kaijus too, I couldn't bring myself to trying to craft this card. This obviously would be another really good Kaiju to craft because it's 3,000 attack. But I didn't want to craft it. Technically, you could just add Raiden. Because I'm just saying the only awkward thing is for interrupted Kaiju Slumber to work, you need two different Kaijus in your deck. So if you end up drawing both of one, the interrupted Kaiju will not work. So if you end up playing two interrupted Kaijus, maybe you cut one of these to play one Raiden, or if you have this, you can play this. Other than that, I thought the deck list was really good. This was made obviously by me. I used like I pretty much, the way I make a lot of these deck lists is I analyze like YCS data or YCQ data. And the thing is, when I look at YCQ data, I'm not looking at like pussy tournaments. I usually look at like tournaments that are like 50, like more than 50 people, like 100 plus or 120, 140, 150 plus people, bare minimum. Because 50 plus people, you can win with almost anything. Like when I used to play tournaments, I used to like get first like playing like complete jank in like 50 plus people tournaments, because like it's not that many rounds. It's only like what, like 4 rounds, 5 rounds. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that it was pretty important to make sure the decks that we're looking at are like high level decks. Obviously, we have to edit the deck pretty heavily. So what we do is we put in, we got rid of like the Book of Moons and stuff like that. And we put in, I guess they weren't really playing Book of Moons, but we got rid of like the cards that are really, really good right now in the cash meta. And we put in the cards like Max C, because obviously TCG isn't playing Max C because it doesn't exist, or it's banned. So yeah, so the deck is edited for Master Duel. So I think this is an ideal list. You could argue cutting Call by the Grave for maybe like more going second cards, but I actually liked Call by the Grave. It came up quite a bit, or it came up sometimes. But if you did replace this, maybe you replace one of them for another interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and then the other one for like I don't know, maybe another Nibiru or something like that. Yeah, I mean Nibiru felt pretty good too. Nibiru feels really good in this meta, personally. Might actually end up playing 2 of these, because the token you get from Nibiru is such a fat, juicy token. You could slam your fucking cock into. I mean, slam your Ohimi into. So yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. Extra deck wise, I think the extra deck was fine. Again, a lot of it's fodder for Pot of E. If you're wondering why we're not playing Pot of P, is because Pot of P cuts damage, and we're trying to OTK, so it doesn't really make sense to run it. Again, I think all the decisions are pretty fine. On a scale, like a tier scaling, I'm going to say this is a rogue tier deck. I can't imagine this being a tier 3 deck. I really can't, because, like I said, that major weakness. Also, I just think, like, I know a lot of people say, I heard a lot of people saying, oh, this deck's broken, destroys Pearly, and Pearly's a really strong deck. I don't really think it destroys it as much as people say. Like, unless they have like the perfect OTK combo and you have like really nothing on Pearly. Like, the thing is, the Pearly cards, they give you so much recovery. Like, if you Kaiju one of the Pearly boss monster, right? they get, if they have the Happy Pearly, the continuous spell, and the field spell on the field, they can tactically add like 4 cards to their hand just with that. It's not even counting the sleepy draws that they get off of your standby phase. So like, it really doesn't feel that good. And there's a good chance when they draw off of the sleepies too, if they ended up drawing like either 2 to 4 cards, maybe even 6, they're gonna draw into some hand traps. They're just gonna mess their combo up. So like, I don't even think that it necessarily is like, oh yeah, this deck just steamrolls Pearly. I know this card does actually do really well against Pearly, but Pearly does have non-targeted effects inside of their kit. So like, I don't know why people keep saying this. Like, if you look at some of their cards, like Plump's effect over here is non-targeting, the banish effect. So you can just banish, remove this card from the field, and now all the cards are vulnerable, and now you can start spinning everything with Noir. So, so yeah, that's something that can happen. Yeah, but see how my friend is when a XZ monster leaves the field because of an opponent's card, which is a Kaiju. You get to pretty much grab 3 different Pearly names from the graveyard, Pearly spells, add it to the hand, and then the field spell lets you special summon a Pearly monster from the deck. Kind of nutty. But yeah, I mean, like, if the opponent is ending on like Noir, like the end board I was ending on, which was like Noir plus Robin, Lyseric Robin, and the other card or whatever. Like, I feel like that's not a very easy board for this deck to really out. I don't know. Just saying. And it just feels bad too, because even when you out it, like, they get all the value back. So unless you're OTKing them, you're killing them immediately right there. It's gonna be a little annoying. And I'm saying you still could OTK them, but it's not like 100% guaranteed, is all I'm saying. But yeah, I think either way, this deck's really fun. So, if you guys want to craft this, I heard someone saying Pearly was expensive because it was like 9 URs you had to get. I mean, this deck is legit like the same amount of URs, so I don't know. They're both the same expensive, so like, pick whether or not you want to play a Rogue tier deck or probably a tier 1 deck with this new pack. But again, if you like this gimmick of like running your cards into your opponent, then this might be the deck for you. But hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, you guys, what you want to see next. But goodbye.